culture in the world. This is the second year of our second retail and hospitality strategy, and it does tell a really great story, as Minister Allen said. The value of the industry is actually quite staggering when you think about it. Melbourne is the powerhouse of, the city of Melbourne is the powerhouse of Melbourne's economy, and in fact the powerhouse of Victoria's economy. It's about $90 billion just here in these little 38 square kilometres that make up the city of Melbourne. But of that, 6% comes out of your sector, a record contributing 5.5 billion last year. And we've seen a substantial increase in the number of retail and hospitality businesses in the city. And as the Minister says, that means jobs. And in particular, it means jobs for younger people, because these industries do tend to employ younger people as their starting point on the journey of employment for life. It's no accident that when you look at our Clue data, and we measure this very carefully, and this is, I think, a staggering thing, for the last 10 years, every week, one cafe or restaurant has opened in the city. And that is a remarkable achievement. And it's actually picked up speed in more recent years. So if you look at it overall, it's nearly 700 of them in the last 10 years. And the last 3 in particular have been very, very successful. If you look at our hotel rooms, their occupancy approaches 90%. That's because we've had a 12% increase in international overnight visitors. And the thing that the Minister and I are at pains to point out is it's not an accident. This is what we planned for. This is why we came together to develop these strategies, to look at just how we might do it. And I think our signature is our diversity. I'm often asked what is the secret of Melbourne, and whether it's the diversity of our people, and that's certainly true, but the diversity of our businesses as well. The Minister's right. Freight trains are easy, helicopters are hard. One of the things I love is that it's not as if we've controlled this, it's as if it's happened naturally. If you look at the retail core of Melbourne, there's a really nice split. There's about a 50-50 market share between those well-known, high-end world and global brands and the local independent retailers and designers. We're actually seeing now more vertical retail as well, and a number of you have helped us with those strategies, both on the first floor and above and below ground. And so we've had diversity in geography as well. And that's why we want to support, as the government does, that mix of innovative businesses. And we do that whether it's through precincts, and I see many representatives from our precincts here, or supporting small innovative businesses. What we want to do is, as the Minister said, make Melbourne synonymous with global excellence in retail and hospitality. And I think the Minister also mentioned before what's happening in other cities. I think the results that we've had here are quite remarkable. When you think that our nighttime economy is booming, and that was work we did with the other capital city Lord Mayors, but the astonishing thing to me is it's booming in ways that we want it to boom. So sales of food are well up, but sales of alcohol are down, and violence against the person is down too. So as the Minister said, it's a busier city, but it's also a much safer city. And Arbury, and thank you Richard for having us here, is a great example of this. This site was disused, unloved for 30 years, until someone with the imagination to see the potential of what this site could be embraced the river, created the longest bar at 150 metres long, used the former Sandridge rail line, and it's now part of the fabric of the city. And it takes this sort of imagining to recreate our city, which is what's happening the whole time. As the Minister said, we don't criticise them, but Sydney and Brisbane are going down one track through lockout laws. We're going the other way and embracing a 24-hour exciting city. And an important part of that, and great credit to the Minister, has been 24-hour weekend public transport, the trial that I know that she'll be evaluating. And it's changed the way the city operates. And the Minister and I have spoken about that, with the idea that if this is to continue, we're going to have to think about how we make 2 a.m. in the morning feel like 11 p.m. How we normalise the city late at night. And we're working with Minister Allen and also Minister Garrett to look at venues like this, to say, do we licence them to operate later into the night? Because these are the sort of venues we want to encourage. People who serve food throughout the night. The smaller, more intimate venues where we know we never have any trouble. So we continually look for ways, as the Minister said, to improve the offer that we have here in Melbourne. But great credit to her for that weekend public transport trial. If we look ahead, we've got a very strong pipeline of growth for the next 3 to 5 years. We track this data very carefully as well. We track how much retail space is being provided, how much is in the pipeline. We've got 35,000 square metres of retail space under construction, with something like 100,000 square metres in the pipeline. That's 2 emporiums in that 3 to 5 year period. We've got about 1,400 serviced apartments and hotel rooms under construction, and another 8,000 are in the pipeline. So you can see that in those businesses of hospitality and retail, there is not just wonderful performance now, but there is also confidence in that performance continuing. So soon we'll have St Collins Place, the Rialto regeneration, as the city continues to reinvent itself. But most importantly, again, as the Minister said, it's one thing to have these strategies, and we're confident that they work, and we've shown that they do, but reporting back, measuring what we do is just as important. Measuring ourselves against our strategic aims, celebrating our achievements, and we should be celebrating our achievements, keeping ourselves informed of the latest trends, and engaging with each other as we look to the future. I often say, one thing that's different about Melbourne, we are a conversation town. We form partnerships, and that's certainly true in the retail and hospitality spheres as well. Where other cities might view each the other as competitors and try to be little islands separate from each, here in Melbourne, the conversation between retail and hospitality outlets, owners, workers, has meant the sector as a whole has got stronger. Finally, can I thank the Minister and the State Government. When you talk about partnerships, I could not be more proud of the partnership that we have with the State Government, working very closely together to drive our economy, to drive jobs, and try to drive the City of Melbourne. And in particular, can I thank the Melbourne Retail and Hospitality Board and the sector. It's been your hard work, but more than that, when we think about this strategy, your invaluable advice that means that today is a celebration of achievement. So thank you all.